we have some small celebration. And Christina's gonna tell a few words before we will start the real presentation. So please wait a little bit. Jakob, just give me a sign that it's okay when I'm speaking like that. Okay. Should Christina receive also a mic, maybe, for this moment? Or it's not possible?
Can I use just for the microphone? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do audio check. Testing, 1, 2. You have audio. If I whisper right now. Do you want me to higher my voice like this? It's still good. Audio check, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio check. Hello everybody, hey, audio check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you have Christina.
Okay, cool. Hey everyone. Yeah, we are welcome everybody who was joined before this part of the work with media. And today we have the special Fridafika, not only because we have the Polish introduction today, but also because we have the special person here who is unfortunately leaving our team. But we want to have like some words to you, Jasper, and saying that it was so great time that you was with us all this time and support all the teams who is working here and do incredible job, and every time was so helpful and positive and extremely good attitude to everyone. And we know that our team will miss you, our whole team, whole networked team will miss you. And this Fika, healthy Fika, it's for you. And yeah, we love you and we'll be happy to see you here anytime, wherever you feel comfortable to come back.
Thank you all. I want to have you all, but you know these times. Well, I guess I should say something, even though many of you don't know me, but hi, I'm Jesper. I've been here now for about 3.5 years, been doing both a project and I've also been part of the tech team doing fun stuff. Thank you very much. As you heard, I'm quitting my time here next week. I'm going to be here Monday, Tuesday as well, but that's just wrapping up, giving some hugs, eating some fika. I think that's mandatory. Of course, I guess you have me to blame for the healthy fika today instead of snacks, because I've been doing some hardcore exercise for the last 2 months, so I've stayed away from sugar, sorry. So that's why I don't eat sugar. Yeah, thank you for the very kind words. It's been amazing being here, of course. It's a place with so many experiences. It's so cool, with so many people, so many stories to tell. So keep on telling stories, always. That's important. I will, of course, pop in here every now and then. I will still be in Växjö, so I won't disappear completely. I will be here every now and then, maybe pop in for some open house nights and doing fun stuff. So yeah, thank you all. Now I don't want to take up more of your time. It's your presentation time. It's not me bragging about everything fun here.
I'm just like something extra today.
So yeah, thanks for meeting all of you. Even though some of you are new faces for today, but like that's the attitude of Nätverket SIP and everything we do here. Like there are new faces, new people everywhere, but we are so open for all the stories that are being told. And that is like experiences from people and feelings and emotions. That is pretty much everything here. So it's amazing. Thank you all.
And please, guys who are standing there, you can join Fika for like 15 minutes and then you will continue your activity with the media part. So it's time for you just to share a bit of Fika with us. And listen a bit of Lukas. Yeah?
Thank you. So yes, feel free to take Fika. It will not interrupt me so much I hope that my presentation about my home country is not going to be very boring for you. But I want to start with how I made this presentation, because it wasn't so easy to talk about 38 million of people, 1,000 years of history. So how to say in like 20-25 minutes about this all big history. So I jumped to something very universal, which is UNESCO list. And I checked the UNESCO list. What is on UNESCO list on the Polish heritage? And that was my base. I started with that, and I was following that. And then I came up with idea that I will share with you Polish values. What is for Polish people very important. And when we will go through it, we will check also another Polish things. My name is Łukasz. My surname is Łukasz Grosz. It's Grosz. No, my surname is Grosz. And if you will ever forget, just take a Polish coins, and on every Polish coin there is my surname. So this is my surname, but also you can see that the Polish language is quite complicated because you have 1 grosz, but already 2 grosze and 5 groszy. So the Polish grammatic is quite difficult, and to show that, I just wanted to spread love in Polish. On the picture you can see Polish paper cut, which is also Polish tradition to do paper cuts in some regions, not all over the Poland. And how sounds I love you in Polish? It's kocham cię. But there is plenty of declinations. So this is all the variety of verb I love you, to love in Polish language. So I would say that I'm lucky that I know this language because learning that it's quite difficult and challenging. And a little bit more about the Polish and Polish alphabet. We have some extra letters that you cannot see right now, all of them, but we have like O, which is the second letter, which is A with extra line, and it's O. Then a little bit further it's Ci, so C with extra line. There is O. There is Eł, which is a name. My name is starting with this letter. There is Eń, U, Eś, Ż, no, Ż and Z. And the longest Polish word that you can make by only using this word is żółć, which means yellow, or the liquid in your stomach. And also in Polish language we have a tongue twister, which is I cóż, że ze Szwecji, and Szwecji means Sweden. And can you try to say I cóż, że ze Szwecji? Yeah, it's quite challenging. It doesn't mean anything special. It means like it doesn't matter that you are from Sweden or it is from Sweden. But what is a funny fact about that, that the Swedish embassy in Poland, their Facebook profile is called I cóż, że ze Szwecji. So I really like the Swedish embassy Facebook. They are posting a lot of funny things. Where is Poland? Poland is in the East Europe, in the middle of Europe. It depends in which period of the history you were born. They teach me in school that it's the middle Europe. I know that from the West European countries, it's the East Europe. It really it depends how you call it, but it's here, the red one. So we have border with Germany, Czechia, Slovakia, Ukraine, Lithuania, Belarus, and Russia. A small piece of Russia that is here. It's not connected with a big Russia. Also, if we are talking about the maps, the map here is showing how Poland looks right now. So this is the borders on the shape of Poland after the Second World War. Usually the country used to be a little more on the east side. So the green part up there, it used to be Poland. Now it's Ukraine, Belarus, or Lithuania, which means that after the war, all these people that were living in the gray part, they were moved to the pinky parts. So because of that, we mixed a lot. So it's not like here is in Sweden that you have plenty of dialects, plenty of region differences. After the Second World War, we are very, very mixed, and then this kind of regionalism a little bit disappeared. I'm from the north of Poland, city Gdańsk, which is going to be quite often in the presentation. You can see here on the top, before the war, pinky, on the pinky region, so it was not Poland all the time. That is also because it influenced my culture. So sometimes I'm using a little bit, I'm adding German words to my Polish language, which is kind of interesting. And sometimes people cannot know, but it's only a few words. Okay, so let's go to the values. For Polish people, one very important value is a family. Here you can see a picture of my family from my mother's side. It's around 50 people, so it's quite a big family. It's my closest aunties, uncles, and cousins. And yeah, my cousin's child also right now. And if you have a family, you gather with family, and also we have a lot of family gatherings, for example, weddings. Weddings can be, I would say that the usual wedding is around 100 people, but it can be up to 200 in other regions. And we have few kind of funny traditions. One is oczepiny, which is the first picture. Around the midnight, there's some special place, and in the midnight of the wedding, there are special place and games to just celebrate. It used to be more connected with the virginity and this kind of things, but now it's more for having fun, but we are still keeping that. The other picture shows a very special cake for the wedding. In my region and in the western Poland, we have a tradition that is called Polterabend, which is from German language, and we are hitting the glass, we are crushing the glass. So people are throwing some kind of bottles to the middle of some stone, and we just crush the glass for the happiness of the new couple. And also we have a tradition of making gates. So here is a couple, the ones that just get married, and this is kind of gate, and it can be just a string on the street, but it can go very, very fancy. It's just to stop all the cars, say, yeah, good luck with your marriage, and then all the people receive small gift from the just married couple. For the elderly, like the old adults, it's usually vodka. Kids are receiving some sweets, but it's a very, very nice tradition that is still cultivated. And also food. You can see some traditional Polish food. My question to you is, what connect all these pictures, all these dishes? Yes? Potatoes. Everywhere you can have potatoes. So here you have Polish dumplings, so pierogi with potatoes. This is potato dumplings. This is baked potatoes. This is potato zoo, and this is potato pancakes. So potatoes are very popular in Poland. Another value is a heritage, and we are very proud of a Polish history and how it was in the past ages and etc. And I think one of the most popular tourist destination in Poland is Krakow, which was a second Polish capital city. You can find there, and it's on the UNESCO list also. So there is a castle, which used to be castle for Polish kings. There is a sile mine on the right picture, which is called Wieliczka. It's, I guess, one of the oldest salt mine, but as you can see inside, it's a very, very beautiful, it's like piece of art. And also close to Krakow, it's Auschwitz-Birkenau, Oświęcim, so the Nazis' death camp, which is also right now a memory place and the museum. But Polish culture and Polish history is not only Polish nationality. There are also some minority groups that are in Poland, and I wanted to just make the list. Like there are Kashubians, it's like the ethnic group, but there are also other nationalities like Lemkos, Romani, Tatars, Gurals, and Silesians, which are also ethno groups. And it can be visible in different places. Here we have Armenian architecture in one city in Poland.
This is one kind of temple or something?
Yeah, this is temple of Lemkos, in Polish Łemkowie. It's in some countries they are recognized as a nationality. In some countries they are recognized as an ethnic group. They're like from East Europe, and they are like in Poland, Ukraine, but they don't have their own states, and they are Orthodox. But as you can see, the Orthodox Church is very colorful, which is not so common for the other Orthodox churches. In some regions, you can find the signs in 2 languages. Like here is Władysławowo. I don't know how to pronounce it in Kasubik language, but there's also, and the Roma people, they're also living in Poland, like from around 500 years. Fun fact, this year Junior Eurovision was won by a Polish girl, and she has a Roma background. Another value for Polish people is freedom. We used to fight a lot with different occupants, and this is also the part of history that Polish people are very proud of. But I guess we are very proud of also the solidarity movement, so Solidarność. It's the movement from the 80s, which starts in the 80s as a workers' union, but actually contribute a lot with fighting with the communism in the East European countries, like starting with Poland and then in other. And there is a special museum which is called European Solidarity Center, which shows the history of fighting with a communism regime by the solidarity movement. And also in a lot of Polish cities, you can find institutions that are connected with freedom, solidarity, fighting with regimes and other sad things in our history. So this is the picture of demonstrations in the 1918 around, when the Polish woman has a right to vote. Polish was one of the first countries that give a possibility to vote to women. In Gdańsk, in my city, there is a very nice museum of the Second World War, which shows the history of the war, not in the Polish perspective, but more as a world perspective. Now, a few years ago, we started a big discussion what is democracy in Poland. So you can find plenty of artists that are trying to contribute in this discussion by making some piece of art. So yeah, it's a very open discussion right now. What is a democracy? On the next picture, there is a Szczecin, where there is also this square. It's not a square, it's a building, but it's mostly under the ground, which is also the place where you can see the history of the solidarity movement. I'm showing also Szczecin because it's quite easy to reach Szczecin from Skone by ferry. And then I'm also showing Warsaw. It's a special moment in Polish culture, 1st of August, 5 p.m., when all the people are standing in one place for 1 minute, because we call it hour zero or hour double V, which was hour when the Polish uprising in Warsaw starts during the Second World War. And just to memory, keep in mind this date, there is one moment that all the people are just standing and don't do anything for 1 minute. All the cars are stopping, nobody is moving. You can hear the sirens in the cities, the alarms. It's just to show the memory of that moment. Yes, traditions. Of course, we have plenty of traditions, and I want to talk about the Polish tradition of having a lunch, or actually maybe having a dinner. It's also not so easy to translate Polish obiad to lunch or dinner, because in Polish culture we usually eat only one hot meal during the day, and it's a big meal. So how looks Polish obiad? So you have the first dish, which is a soup. You're starting with a soup as an appetizer, and then you usually have a piece of meat, which here is kind of schnitzel, with potatoes, and then you also have some salads. Salads are usually it's cabbage or beetroots, but it can be also something different. And to drink, we are drinking fruit juice, which is called kompot. In English, it's also compote. So it's boiled fruits with a little bit of sugar. Another tradition that I'm showing here is like gathering on the graveyards during 1st of November. I put this because this presentation first time I made in November, so it was just around. But it's also something very typical for the Polish culture that 1st of November, all the people are going to the graveyards to visit their family members that passed away. It's a very, very big day in Poland, and like it's crazy because it's so crowded around the graveyards, so that police officers need to close the roads there because it will be too much cars in the same time. So it's really, really crazy. According to statistics, it's the day that Polish people move the biggest amount. They're moving a lot during these days because you want to see all your, visit your all family members on the graveyard, so you're moving around all the region or sometimes even around the Poland. And the traditions are usually connected with Catholic Church, Christianity. So I just put here some examples of churches. This is from Gdańsk, my city, and this is the biggest brick. Yeah, it's very beautiful. You can go up and has a nice view. It's the biggest brick building in the Europe from the Gothic time. Up there is a very important place for the Polish Catholics. It's the place that every Polish Catholic is visiting in their life. And I put here a picture of this very big church because I want to ask you when it was built. How do you feel? How do you think? What do you think?
It's big.
Yeah, it's very big. How many years ago they built it? No, this church is very, very new. It's quite hard to say when they built it because it took a lot of time, but it's for sure younger than me. So it was built in the end of the 20th century. And yeah, so it's still a lot of churches are built every year, I would say, in Poland. According to statistics, 95% of Polish people are Catholics. This is the statistics. The truth can be a little bit different. But I also wanted to mention about other religions that are in Poland and they also influence a lot of Polish culture. It's an Orthodox church, and there's also few denominations of Orthodox church in Poland. They are mostly on the east part of Poland, so closer to Ukraine, Russia, Belarus. But also the architecture is very, very nice and interesting. The wooden buildings, you can also, they're also on UNESCO list because there's a lot of small wooden Orthodox churches in the south of Poland, which are especially protected by law because now there's not so many Orthodox people. Also this building, it's the biggest Orthodox building in Poland, church in Poland, and it was also built a few years ago. So we have also Protestants, not so many, but some of them. And I also put the first church because it's also on the UNESCO list, and it's connected with Sweden and a 30 years old war between Catholics and Protestants, and Sweden as a state was very involved during these wars. And when the war was finished, they signed the agreement of peace, and they built 3 wooden churches in southwest part of Poland right now, and 2 of these churches are still existing. And the other church, in the end, it's also a Protestant church, but it's from Norway. They took it apart in Norway and bring it in Poland in the, I guess it was 19th century. Yeah, because some Protestant priests want to build a church, and it was a contribution of Norway's Protestants to the Polish Protestants, so they give the church to Poland, which is quite funny story, that even so many years ago they were moving buildings from one place to another. Polish history is also a Jewish history. There used to be a lot of Jewish people living in Poland, around few millions. After the Second War, this number go down so much, but still you can find some synagogues in Poland. Not all of them were destroyed. In Gdańsk there is one synagogue, and here in Krakow there is few synagogues, but also a very interesting place is the Polin Museum of History of Polish Jews, which was opened also a few years ago. You can see by the picture that it's a very, very nice building, and the architecture it also says some story that I will not describe right now, but all these shapes, all these bridges, all these shapes of the windows, it has a meaning. But I recommend you to go there and visit the museum. Also, Polish history is a Muslim history. Not so many Muslims are living in Poland, but Muslims are in Poland from also 16th, 17th century. And it's also east part of Poland, which are 2 very small mosques. And they actually doesn't look so much as mosques, but believe me, they are mosques. And in the 20th century, they built a little bit more mosques, like this one in Gdańsk. It's connected with the migration from the 60s, 80s, from the 20th century. And pride, another Polish value. We are very proud of our family, of our history. So Polish people like to talk about it. And I put this value and want to show you what I'm proud of in Poland. And it's a Polish nature. Maybe we are not as good as Swedes with protecting nature, but I hope that we're gonna be just better and better. And as an example, I'm always saying about bison, European bison. It's a species that almost extinct. They had only, as I remember, 16 of animals in the beginning of 20th century, and all of them were in the zoos or in some private gardens, and they took all of them to Polish forest, a natural forest in one place, and they start to multiply them. And it's quite big success because now it's around 1,000 of bisons. Of course, because of such a small group, there's an issue of inbreeding, so the gene population was not so big and they have some issues. Yeah, but we can observe this biggest European mammal right now in Poland and also in Belarus. In Poland we also have small desert, which is called Błędowska Desert, which now, I know that with these bushes it doesn't look so much as a desert anymore, because the succession of plants is they are just coming, but they try to remove the bushes because this desert is existing around a few hundred years already. It was made by humans. They destroyed the environment so much that it was just a sand, and nothing wants to grow there, but then some special species of grass start to grow there. And now it's very special environment there, so they try to protect it. There is also Słowiński National Park, the other with a sand. It's moving meadow, not meadows, meadow, like this, how it's called, the sand mountains, hills on the beaches, next to the beaches. I don't know how it's called now in English. It's meadow? No, it's not meadow. How? Dews, yes, yeah. The dews are still moving there, and it's quite interesting to go there. Poland from the north has a Baltic Sea. On the south there are mountains. And as you see, the mountains can be also very, very different. The highest mountains, so the picture in the middle, the Tatra mountains, which are rocks and etc., but also the Bieszczady mountains, which are more hills with nice forests and etc. Yes, and in the end, I wanted just to say that Sweden was always around me during my whole life. It's a very, very old map of my village. It's a lake here. And sorry that the line is just there, but what is written here, Jakob, in German? And it means? Sweden. Yeah, exactly. There is a Swedish hill in my village. The legend says that during one of the Polish-Swedish wars, the Swedish soldiers were running away and they find on their way the lake, which is, as you can see, quite long lake. It has 7 kilometers. And the legend says that the Swedish soldiers, they tried to make a bridge from the soil, but they didn't manage and they drowned in the lake. But yeah, this kind of peninsula right now is called the Swedish mountain because it is actually peninsula and the mountain hill in the same time. So yes, thank you very much. If you have any questions, just ask me. Oh, there is.
Actually, my question is, which I feel in Poland. So I visit 3 months before in Poland. So I personally feel racism. So I mean, why it's happened here? I mean, why it's, I feel with the people.
Yeah.
They don't like other country people or like something. I don't know, maybe of color or something.
It's a very, very tough question about Polish people and how they react to other peoples. I don't know. I'm a very open person, and I'm living in kind of bubble, I guess, that is very, very open. According to some social polls, yes, the acceptance of the foreigners is a little bit going down the last years. But I guess it's just hard to reach if you will meet them as like, if they are your neighbors or if you will just talk with them, it will be more easy and will go more smoothly. In the biggest cities, I guess it depends. In big cities, you can meet these people and other people. So one people can be very welcome, another cannot be. So I hope that next time you will meet only nice Polish people.
Actually, so many friends living in Poland, so they always talking about this. I never believed that because I believe till then I have not experienced something. Then I'm not believing anything. But 3 months before I visit, I strongly feel this. That's why I'm asking from you this question. So yeah, it's happened with me.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah.
can also be that we are not very good English speakers. According to statistics, we are very good with English, but I don't know who made this statistic. So maybe it's also that because we are very proud of each of us, so we don't want to show that we don't know English. So they are like, okay, let's keep the distance, because they will notice that we are not so good with English. No, I think they're a little bit, they're acting a little bit the other way. They just keep talking in French with you.
Okay, thank you so much for answering. Thank you.
What are the tourist opportunities in Poland? How many tourists visit Poland each year?
Oh, I don't know this.
International
I don't know
tourists,
the statistic, but yeah, I would say like
Yeah, that's
we
why I put that question.
Poland is
Yeah.
like Krakow, the city that I mentioned, also in the presentation, is very popular for foreigners. And Krakow a few years ago was very popular for British people. There's also a lot of Swedish people, especially in the north of Poland. I'm always saying that I can go to my city, to Gdańsk, from Malmo every day. There is a flight. I can go twice a week from Wekho to Gdańsk. I can go from Göteborg to Gdańsk also a few times in a week. I can go to Gdańsk, actually to Gdynia, but it's the city next to Gdańsk, through Karlskrona twice a day. So the connection with Sweden and Poland is very, very good. So it means that there's plenty of people that are using that. There are, of course, also Polish people that are coming to Sweden to work in Sweden, because there is like around 100,000 of Polish people living here. So they need to commute also. But usually, especially if I'm flying from Wekho, which is not so, I guess, popular destination for Polish people, I would say that mostly there are Swedes people on in the plane, which are going to Poland for having fun, because it's just cheaper, for some beauty services, for a dentist, but also to visit another country. I would say like Gdańsk is very modern city, and there is plenty of information in English. In all the museums, you can also like have descriptions or the guides in English. So I think it's very, very interesting. There also in Gdynia there is a big music festival, which is gathering the top of the top musicians of this moment usually. So there's also like a lot of international people coming there, because it's also, I guess, much cheaper than go to the music festival in Sweden. But yeah, also there's a lot of Germans are coming, which is also connected with the history, that Gdańsk used to be a German city. Like used to be German-Polish city, you know, the history was changing. So there is a lot of German people that are like coming because the family was from Gdańsk, for example, like the Gintergrass, very good known author, he was from Gdańsk. So yeah, Fahrenheit is from Gdańsk, so the scientist, the Hevelius, I don't know how it's Hevelius in German.
So, what are the job opportunities in Poland as compared to Germany? I mean that I have a question about the economy. That which sector have a good part in economy, tourism? What kind of industry the Polish people have, or Poland have?
For job opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for job opportunity.
Okay, it's not. I'm not the best person to answer for these questions.
Okay.
But in general, the big part of the Polish industry is still farming.
Okay.
But nowadays, I would say that there is a lot of international companies also coming to Gdańsk, and like especially to Gdańsk, but to other big cities. So I would say like this IT connected things, it's also just growing and growing in Poland. And yeah, like right now, Poland also needs a lot of just regular workers, like the people that are gonna work in shops, gonna work in the construction, gonna work in the very, is in these basic jobs that are needed for the society, because also Polish people are going abroad to work as a nurse, as a constructor, as an engineer. And now in Poland there's a lot of people from the East Europe that are coming and are working in these professions because, you know, you just need it.
Is Buddhism exist in Poland? Because in Sweden it's exist. Buddhism.
Yeah, Buddhism is existing in Poland. I don't know how big is it, and probably it's not very big. But for example, in Gdańsk, there is one Buddhism center. No, there's even two Buddhism centers. I don't know that maybe I can call it even a temple, but I don't want to say something wrong. But yeah, there is a Buddhism, and for sure in the big cities the movement is going on. Actually, I was organizing an event in Gdańsk, which is called Night of Temples, which was like just to ask different religions, philosophy and other institutions, denominations. And in Gdańsk we found around 20 different religions. So it's only in Gdańsk, but I know that in Warsaw they also, so in the capital of Poland, they also organize the Night of Temples, and they have around 50 of different denominations / religions. And so, yeah, I don't know how many connected with Buddhism is there, but I know that in Buddhism there's also a lot of paths. So, yeah.
Can you quickly go back to the slide with the desert? Because
With what?
yeah, this
Yeah.
one. You mentioned that they tried to remove the grass in the desert, and I was wondering why did they want to remove the grass in the desert? Because it seems like, oh, nice, finally something growing there.
No, but the don't grass, but mostly bushes. They want to remove from there because of this special environment. So it was only a sand, and it was because of sand, which is reflecting a lot of sunshines, that not every plant can grow there, and also it's not keeping the humidity. So only special species could grow there, and actually the species are growing only there, only in this place. So they want to keep this special species, this special habit only for these plants.
Okay.
Because naturally, yeah, it should change to the forest, because like in Polish climate, the final step of an environment is usually the forest, but not here. Let's like not here, because it's like the active protection right now. They just need to weed it. It's time for Fika.
Time for Fika.
Thank you for the online people that were watching. We don't have a possibility for questions for them. Maybe somebody comment, and if there's no questions, we will finish the presentation. I hope that.
Hey from Alvina. It's hey from Fia and Pia and Stefan.
Oh, hey Stefan.
So best
hey,
greetings.
Pia. And the first person was?
And Albina as well.
Okay. Hey. And hey do in the same time.
And hey do.
Hey do.